This boat is 57 foot long and it was built in 2004. When we were choosing a boat, the main like showstopper on many boats that were otherwise perfect was the head height, because Michael would just come in and then the ceiling would be here and they wouldn't be comfortable. So that's one reason we ended up with a Liverpool boat, because all the ceilings that seem to be much more curved, and so they give him more head height.
We've got what we know is the pointy end or bow of the boat.
These are our front doors.
There's the gas locker up front, and then underneath this floor here is where we store all of our fresh water.
Underneath, both these steps lift up and there's storage underneath, and it actually goes under the bow as well, so we've got some tools stored in there.
And this is the main living area we call the saloon,
which we didn't really use very much for the first couple of weeks, other than to store tools in, and it was a bit of a mess.
It's probably going to end up being an office primarily eventually.
This is, I guess, designed for a TV like back in the day, but when we don't have a TV, we're not going to have a TV, so it's a bit of a, it's not like the ideal shape for us really.
Got various books and everything stored inside of there. We've got our Wi-Fi, our not very functional car stereo.
This is our wood burning stove,
which when in use will not have cactus on it.
It's a Morso squirrel. We haven't actually had a chance to use it yet because it's just been too warm.
Got some wood here lined up. We're probably about 9 months early, but we, you know, we're prepared. The
previous owners kindly left it full of ash for us, so we've cleaned it out, we've swept the chimney, given it a polish, so it's all ready to go.
Our couch. It's a potential extra berth because it actually turns into a bed, so it's like a sofa bed, and there's some storage behind it and everything.
But we're probably going to get rid of the sofa and put a desk in here so that we've got a workspace, like a proper workspace, because we've been working on the dinette, which has been fine for like short periods of time, it's like a couple of hours, but if you're going to do an 8-hour day, you probably want a comfy chair and a desk. It'll be annoying to lose the sofa, but it's more important for us to have like a really good workspace than like somewhere comfy to sit in the evening.
This is what's called a Pullman's dinette. There's some storage underneath here and this table where we eat our food.
We have quite a bit of storage, although for some reason, although there's loads of room, they've cut out these really small holes, so masses of storage, but you can only put things through that are this wide.
And in a emergency sort of situation, we could pull the top off and turn it into a bed for another couple of people. Small people, all small people.
So we've got lights in the ceiling, and we've also got these side lights as well. We've managed to change these bulbs for LED, but we haven't got the bulbs for these ones yet. But we haven't been using the lights much anyway because it's June and the evenings are really light. There was no smoke detectors or CO2 alarms fitted when we bought the boat, so we've managed to put those in. So
safety, sound, light, safety, and so on.
The ceiling's kind of dotted with all these things because we've got the vents for the mushroom as well.
Eventual chilies. The map where we have been on our vast and long journey thus far in this tiny little portion right here. And we aim to be up here probably within the decade, but you know, it's the idea. Travel this whole thing.
We really wanted a boat that was quite open plan in the living area, and this one definitely fits the bill, although I'd prefer it if it didn't have this great big monstrosity and then you could just look all the way through from the kitchen. So we might get rid of that one day. Everyone said to us, live with your boat for at least 6 months, don't make any drastic changes because you don't know what you like and what you don't like. That's what we're trying to do. There's been a few things that we've had to do because they just needed fixing, but we're not making any changes until we've been on board for at least 6 months really, apart from 2 things, solar and the toilet, but they're necessities. So this is our key shelf, and I made Michael get rid of all the keys that we didn't know what they were for. We've kept them in case we suddenly discover more locks. And then we've got Buddha living on the top shelf. He's one of the only things that we've brought on the boat that's not practical. And then our little kitchen, which is small but functional.
We've got a 12-volt fridge covered in fridge magnets. Turns out that even at 12 volts they stick.
Got the oven and the hob.
Sink.
Got storage under here, which is pretty much empty. We've got food in this cupboard and a little bit in this cupboard. And we've got a cupboard over here with a couple of little drawers as well.
Duck hatch, airplane.
That's where the open plan bit finishes, luckily, because you don't need it to be open plan in the bathroom.
Okay, the bathroom, which has a sliding door to allow for some privacy.
We've got a tiny bath with a shower over the top, got a basin.
What's called a macerating pump out toilet with a faulty depth gauge. Very helpful.
And this is the one of two things that we need to change because the pump out's not working for us.
Razor point, also very helpful.
We've got storage underneath the sink, we've got a towel warmer, and we've got frosted privacy glass.
Electrical box panel where we control all of the systems of the boat that run on 12 volts. This is what we would like to be known as the concussion-causing possible killer of Michael.
So this is a bedroom. We've got portholes in here, so a little bit more privacy than the big copper windows everywhere else. There's a little bit of storage above the bed. That's where I keep my clothes, and we've got spare bedclothes and towels up there as well. Under the bed there's more storage, but we have nothing in it. We're not using that.
This is our nice bed. It's got a little pull-out thing here that makes us able to pull it out and have it a little bit wider.
This is our wardrobe, so we've got our coats and hanging clothes there, and then the rest of Michael's clothes are at the top.
Down here, potentially, in fact, actual extra storage of things I'd forgotten we owned.
And then we've got a cupboard over there, which is above the hot water tank. And we don't really have anything in there. But we can put clothes in there that aren't quite dry to dry when the hot water's on.
We have some thoughts about eventually removing these stairs and putting like a washing machine here, getting rid of this whole thingamadoodle and having just steps that come down, because this is actually quite inconvenient and we both hit our heads fairly often on here.
We've got 4 radiators. We've got one here, one in the corridor, one in the saloon, and then the towel warmer in the bathroom.
Various electronics related to things that are not used in normal house, although we do have, you know, central heating. It doesn't work the same way you would think, and we have, it's the immersion heater, which is a thing that only works if you're plugged into shore power, and we are never going to be plugged into shore power.
Yeah, so as I said, we don't really want to make any changes until we've lived with everything for 6 months. But there's a few things that are on our list of possibly want to do. Cut this out so that Michael stops hitting his head, change the stairs, and also we want to get rid of the wood effect. I mean, it's real wood, some of it's laminate, but it makes the place really dark. So ideally we just whitewash it or use a very pale paint just to brighten it up and freshen it up. And then stairs to the stern.
One that causes immersion, so this is when we want to descend underwater to attack with torpedoes the Russians. The inverter is the main way which we have 240 volt power, and to get to it you go through the jaws of death, which will soon enough be turned into the smooth beveled pathway of joy.
Anything else you want to say?
If you're going to buy a boat, get one that doesn't have holes in it.